Morning everyone. I just want to walk you through Windows 365, or at least Office 365, and just get us the ball rolling on how we're going to implement in the Office, or how I would like to see it used as we start. So if everyone will remember, we've had quite a difficulty with the Redbook and our quoting rosters and our numbers getting mixed up and stuff. Now the Redbook doesn't seem to be going away. It seems to be very much part of the operation, and that way I think we need to just reinforce it and bolster it and make sure that it operates nicely and effectively. Okay, so let's first just deal with logging into Office 365. So open up any browser you like. I'm tending to use Edge just because I'm assuming that Edge, being Microsoft, would be better compatible with Office 365. That might not be the case. Alright, so jump into your search bar and just Google/Bing Office 365 login. Alright, it's going to take you to office.com, or you could have clicked on the Office login down here. Now, I actually happen to be signed in at the moment. You'll see up there I'm signed in, but if you were not signed in, if you sign out, you'll notice that obviously I've given you quite bad usernames, and that's got to do with the fact that we haven't yet linked this to our domain, and I'm a little reluctant to until we're certain of certain things. So alright, so there you go, there's your username, biff@bifflewisgeomatics.onmicrosoft.com for the moment, and your the password. On your first sign in, remember I sent out passwords, it will ask you to change your password. Change it to whatever you feel comfortable with. Keep in mind that the admins, which are Biff, I'm logging in on Biff's account at the moment, and Rob, can reset your passwords at any time. So really there's only one password you need to remember, which is this one. Like anything else, we sign in. Great. Okay. I would like to stay signed in. That's so I didn't. So it will. Someone's going to say, "Don't show me again. Please keep me signed in." I don't really feel a need to be too security conscious on this stuff. You know, the CIA doesn't really care what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to log in, and we're going to be presented with this. Now, the primary place that we're going to deal with is what's called SharePoint. Okay, so I'm going to open up the SharePoint there, and you'll see that it's quite a different kind of way of doing things. But the important thing is down here we've got they're sort of pseudo websites. Okay, so here we have Biff Lewis Geomatics. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to bring up a whole bunch of stuff. And what really matters here is that in the left-hand corner here we've got Documents. And you'll see at the bottom here we have some very familiar file names, namely admin and references. At the moment I am busy uploading stuff, so it's still not yet perfect, and I don't, at the time of this video, I don't want us to use Office 365 for our server related collections. Let's stick to our old system for the moment, because it is still uploading. It could take days. But for the moment, and this, just ignore this email attachments one, that's something it generates. I have no idea why it's there. Obviously it's got something to do with Lynette, and we're going to try, no, sorry, Lynette, it's not you, just I first saw it on your account. So I've just made a file here called BLG Operations, which we're going to use a little prototyping box to play around with it. Okay, so if I open up BLG Operations, I see a Redbook, and this is the subject of this video. Finally we get. So I'm going to open up the Redbook. It'll open up in an online Excel platform, and this is where I think we should be using the Redbook primarily. Okay. So this is, you'll notice it's just like the normal Redbook. It is the Redbook, but the trick is that if I type in here whatever I want to type in, it will immediately save to the Redbook. So even if I close that out and I go back and I open it up, it's saved there because it is altered real time, which means that if somebody else is logged in here, like Jonathan Dingle or Lynette or Didi or anyone, and we're both working on it, we'll be right here. So there'll never be this case of the Redbook being locked out. First, it'll never be locked out, and there'll never be different copies and outdated things. There is one Redbook that we all access at one time. Think of it like a file that's sitting on the front desk, and that when you arrive there, you can have several people sitting with pens fighting over it. All right, but we won't fight. We'll see what's going on, and we'll be able to edit it. That way, we can all be our own sort of administrators. The Redbook's quite simple. I think that's the reason it exists, because anything we want to know about a job we can add or we can omit. So we've got a lot of things there that don't have street addresses. Maybe we didn't think they were important, maybe we didn't know them, or maybe we just didn't enter them. There are a lot of things we omit, but there are some things that are critical. So here we got our file numbers, as you know, and we got our job numbers. I have added in the quote numbers. All right, so this is the quote numbers that we had in our last iteration of the quoting roster, which now means there won't be any confusion with quoting. So now a job comes in. First thing we do, we obviously have to identify whether or not we have a file relating to that job. That's the hard part. And if there isn't, we add a new one in, and it'll be the next number up. Good question. How do we determine that? Maybe we should actually have a running tally. Well, you can see here 64, 66, 67, M67, 69, 71. So the next one would be M3772. And we can add in all our bits and pieces. We've got a new job number tallying up, and we can take the next Q number. So Q762, 4. Right. That way there's no confusion. One difficulty I did spot is that sometimes we have jobs with multiple quotes. So, example, this one here. So, obviously, I don't think we should ever have that situation. I don't know what the history there is. I mean, one job, one quote. And I think I would prefer us to have a quote number, and then if there are revisions made on that quote number, we either delete the ones that don't matter, because there's only one that the client will sign, in theory. If there are revisions on it, then maybe Q1000A, Q1000B, Q1000C, something of that nature. Because I think to have multiple quote numbers is problematic, because these start getting out of sequence. And if we adopt that mechanism of Q1000A, Q1000B, then we can actually move to a system where we don't have a quote number and a job number. We could just have a job number, and that also equals a Q number. So imagine if we had J1000, okay, that's the job number, and then we simply have Q1000. I think that would be simple enough, but that's up to management. And then if there are multiple quotes, we can have A, Q1000, B, etc. So we keep, and that reduces our amount of numbers. But that's something to be thinking of. But for now, the key thing is that we have a Redbook. It's online. Everyone can access it. We have Q numbers in the same sheet, so we can delete that Q roster. It's all live, and I think we should go forward with this. That's been a fun little training session from Jonathan Dingle.